in freedom. And he ended up leaving Parliament in the last Parliament. And he ended up, he started this nation's first sort of broadcasting. It's like just getting information out to the people. It's he's got a huge network.
Right.
And he uses PayPal to fundraise his new project, which he started up. I think it's called the Ballarat Declaration or something. And he raised $2,500 on PayPal, and PayPal pulled the rug out from under him, and they issued him a statement basically saying that it goes against their community guidelines. And so they pulled that ability for him to fundraise off. And the good news is he ended up going with someone else, and he's already reached a third of his $20,000 funding goal. So he's made up all of that lost ground.
How awesome is Joel?
George is awesome.
So for the people online, we had a few sound issues, so none of the audio was going through. So I had selected the wrong microphone, which is awesome. So to quickly recap,
me, but okay, go for that.
Yeah, just to recap the people online, we were talking about Joel Christensen. He's creating a new platform from scratch. Was raising $20,000 to have proper journalists paid and doing their thing, and PayPal without even actually on his website. It was a blank website, so there was nothing there to go against the and just go, you know what, you're George Christensen, we're going to cancel you, you're not having a platform, you're not doing any of that, you're done, and totally banned him off their platform.
Censorship 101. Now, hang on, okay. With the guidelines, they change from day to day in time, minute to minute, quite frankly. Have a stopwatch these days to figure out what's the community standard, really. Yeah? We see it obviously on Facebook, we see it on Twitter, all that sort of thought with the deal with Musk, they're going to change that on Twitter. Yeah, well, let's face it, a lot of people Twitter? I don't know. I'm making words up now.
Quit.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's been a long day. A lot of people quit, and because it's literally just really sort of site. That's fine.
All right, interesting. Someone's just telling us that on the website, apparently we're just getting static noise. So, Hayawa, I think that's how you pronounce it. Hey, can you just send us a quick message? It's Tyler. Can you let us know, is that the Edge Radio Australia website? So if you're not listening live on air now, it's edgeradioaustralia.com. And while we've got you here, Joel, can you give us a quick shout out to what your site is for Turning Point Australia?
Yeah, so you can find me on www.tpost.com.au, but also find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, everywhere. Joel Jammal or Turning Point Australia. But no, this story about George Christensen is it's not unusual. We're not shocked by it. People have been parliamentarians in Australia have been getting banned by social media and big tech for some time now. We had a situation where George Christensen ended up getting shadow banned on a number of different platforms, but even Craig Kelly, who's also a member of Parliament, he even lost his Facebook page, his Instagram page this time last year, and he was a sitting member of Parliament, a part of the Liberal Party. So, look, this isn't shocking. We're seeing this around the world, and the fact that PayPal's done this, it's like, all right, fair enough. But this is the thing: they can only keep this up for so long before people just continue. They annoy enough people that they move to other platforms, and I think we're going to see that.
Well, it just makes an echo chamber, doesn't it? The only people left at those are those who have that particular thinking. And the reality is, you need discourse. You need people to talk. Otherwise, we'll never move.
Hold on.
That's right.
And the other thing that they'll find will happen a lot as well, as they're seeing more and more with Edge Radio Australia. I have to give a bit of a shout out to Freedom Media WA, what George Christensen is trying to put together, Turning Point Australia. So many people will be turning away from mainstream media, or as Malcolm Roberts says, lamestream media, and actually just creating their own platform. So I think this is kind of good news, because what will happen is PayPal, some smart cookie out there will figure out how to actually create their own PayPal, and they'll just turn around to the tech giants. You can go F yourself, we'll do it ourselves. So I kind of think this is a good thing, because George is, I've had the chance to speak to him a few times. He's awesome. He's really resilient. He's stubborn as anything. So in my opinion, he's just going to go, you know what? If you don't ban me on this one, I'll just do it myself.
Look, free enterprise will always find a way, right? That's the great thing about it. The great war against it. Ultimately, the great thing about the market economy, it'll always find another avenue.
Awesome. So, talking of finding another avenue, I really, really want to bring this one up while we've still got people online. So, I don't know if anyone here has to suffer through the West Australian. Unfortunately, I do. So, there's a staffer for Roger Cook has actually come out. So, this isn't just anyone. This is someone who actually worked for Roger Cook. So, the allegations, I'm going to say allegations at this stage because it hasn't gone through court of law. Apparently, she's been told to shut up.
Hang on. They're not really accusations. They came out in a court. This is under oath. This is what she said. She was asked questions. In fact, she didn't volunteer this. It's basically her replying questions. So they are under oath.
So apparently what was happening is during the height of the border controls, when Clark Palmer was trying to get into the country to promote that medication that was really, really good at preventing that thing that was going around in WA at the time. So apparently there was instructions from none other than Roger Cook to only allow donors and friends of the Labor Party to come into the state. Oh, food! Sorry,
What a professional. Look at that. He gets excited. He sees the chips in the distance and off he goes like a frog in a sock.
Sorry about that. No, it's for people who don't know, I haven't had breakfast yet. So that was Ross. I don't know if you saw the arm or not, but that was Roscoe's arm. And we can't kind of do 6-pack at 6 today because I think we've both still got hangovers. I don't know about you, but I still have.
I'm fine.
The thing I'm noticing as I'm getting older and older, I can't. So we had 1 or 2 drinks on Saturday, and it's Tuesday, and I'm still struggling. So,
what's even more frightening is it was Friday. You are that slow to recover. I'm, reasonably much older than you. I'm right back into it. Anyway, doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, now Joel on the other side of the old country there, and you, funny enough, said the country. WA is not another country. We are part of Australia. I think sometimes people need to remember that. But I will ask, did this make the news? I did see it myself on Sky, but make the news mainstream in the East?
No, not at all. I didn't say anything.
Okay, fair. Ultimately,
I'm sorry.
It is a case of our politicians being corrupt and, selling favours. Just no biggie, one thing I've heard and I've said a million times through, I think one rule for me, the biggest thing.
This is Labor through and through. And I'm sorry to harp on about this. Yes, I was a One Nation candidate, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Yep.
We actually have a UAP candidate actually in the chat here as well, and our favourite Peter. He's back as well. I smell WA Inc. too, and jail cells coming.
Why did he steal my idea? I was going to talk about WA Inc. You took it from me.
So, yeah. And yes, Josh, knocking the head off a few frothies is always a good thing. But mine was I can't drink beer, so it was White Russians. So that's why I'm probably still seedy for 4 days afterwards. But
honestly,
yeah, so
it just tasted like it.
It was so
Such
good.
a wuss.
But with Roger Cook and the staffer, it's Labor. You voted for Labor. Yes. This is what you voted for, and this is something people have to waking up for and understanding. It doesn't matter what state it is. Labor has a history of going back on their words, talking out of their ass, and just doing the worst that they can possibly do. Have a look, even before all of this shit happened. Yep. So Mark McGowan during the election, I think it was like 2018, before the last state election where it was an landslide. Oh, no, we're not going to change the Legislative Council. So that's the upper house in WA. The boundaries will stay the same. Each of the regions need their own areas and their own representation. Yes, 1:40 a.m. What does he do? He rushes through. No boundaries anymore.
Well, he's just gotten home from Shaz's place and he's in the mood. What can I say? Whether I want to actually try and not be partisan here. I don't want to actually over, but the reality is, seems to be a pattern forming here when we go back to the and with WA income. I remember from a personal level, car guy, right? So as a car guy, I have more than one car. Okay, so they put Rego up really, really high, cover WA Inc. back in the 80s, right? And that they said, oh look, once all the debts of all our dirty deals and once they're all those terms of all our deals, once they're all covered, hey, you know what? We'll drop it again. Well, here we are 25 years later, quarter of a century later, and those bills are still as high. In fact, not higher now. But what I'm saying is the amount never came off.
Right.
And
I want to throw a question over to Joel, because let's be honest, I'm good at dribbling shit. You're very good at dribbling shit. Joel's an actual political commentator. He's done an amazing job during the last federal election. My question is, do you think Labor's doing this because they can get away with it, or are they doing it because Liberals are just so fucking useless? And I don't use that term. They are absolutely spineless. They have not been in opposition in WA for probably 4 or 5 years. Do you think this is a Australia-wide? Because I honestly did not see any support, any backbone from Scott Morrison during the federal election. There's very, very few conservative, liberal members of parliament who have actually stood up for people's rights. There's very, very few. Rennick, a couple over in Queensland. Is this an Australia-wide thing where the Liberal Party have just gone to trash, really? I called Kirkup spineless jellyfish to describe how much of an opposition leader he was during the state election. Again, to the question, is this something that you're finding across all of Australia, or is this just a WA thing where we do not have a conservative Liberal Party at all?
Yeah, no, you're pretty much on the money. One of the things Professor David Flint said to me, what is he, 86 years old? I interviewed him recently. He made the point that where the Liberal Party, ceases to, be a conservative party, it just ceases to exist. And he was talking specifically about WA. And so, look, I'm not surprised by it. And, they'll, if there's corruption, if there's, discrepancies by the Labor Party, of course the mainstream media is going to ignore it. Of course they're going to play to their own side and whatever. But look, this is what happens. The Liberal Party, they're in exile right now, and they need to work out who their base are. They need to work out what do they actually stand for. They tried playing to teal politics, to the inner city suburbs. They tried to playing all the climate change sort of tactics, and it turns out that the Greens and the Labor Party can do it just better. Yeah. So they need to cut the crap. They need to get back to the original founding of their party, which is the standards that Menzies set out, and they need to get back to that and go from there. Otherwise, One Nation and other minor parties are going to continue to eat at their vote.
All right, I have to say, Josh, you are funny as hell. He was the person I was actually running against in the federal election. Do not disparage the noble jellyfish by comparing it to Kirkup. I think, in all seriousness, during the WA state election, I think the jellyfish actually had more of a spine than Kirkup.
I have to agree.
Now, also, that interview that Joel was just talking about is actually on your YouTube channel. Seriously, go watch it. It is, some of the topics that they tackled were heavy. So heads up, it is something where you do need to sit down and listen to it, but it was brilliant. It was a great interview. So I struggled through the whole time, and I'm bloody glad I did. So make sure you go jump on and have a look at that one there. So,
what sort of subjects have you been talking about on your podcast and other outlets in the last week?
Yeah, sure. More recently, I've probably done 3 or 4 podcasts. The first one was, most recent was obviously with George talking about PayPal, but we also looked into big tech, how it can get around it, where things stand. And we looked into Shinzo Abe, who he was, what did he stand for. Turns out he was actually a pretty good guy.
I'd like to know more, to be honest. I'm not really up. I mean, I remember some positive things about him, but I can honestly say it wasn't a priority to Japanese politics. So, yeah, look, I'd love to hear more.
Well,
yeah,
sorry, just quickly on that one, to give you an idea a bit about his personality. So one of the greatest computer games ever to come out of Japan, obviously Mario Brothers. So when they were announcing that Japan had the Olympics, he actually came out of one of the Mario Brothers games, appeared up on stage to announce that he actually got it. So it was that's the mentality. He's just I can't say he is a top bloke. He was a top bloke, and it's actually really, really sad. But it's not just that he had a sense of humor. He was actually a true freedom, true national, like the national identity.
Yeah, okay.
He was actually a Trump supporter, but he's actually a really top bloke. This is going to be a massive blow. I hope like that in Japan, because you got to remember it's like one of the largest economies in the world. Yeah, so if you look at the foreign exchange market side of things, and this is pre-COVID figures, I'm not sure about now, between daily basis, US dollar to Japanese yen and back again, there's $1.3 trillion traded a day. So that gives you an idea how large their economy is. So
right, okay.
If they
that's about what you'd find under Mark McGowan's sort of
I was going to say the knickers of art. No, but I won't. I think that might be going a bit too far. So, but yeah, no, he is going to be a massive loss. He was considered a political leader, even though he wasn't the prime minister anymore. It was great. Top bloke. I thought he was awesome.
Okay. All right. So, Joel, what are your thoughts as far as that? I mean, what any particular policies or anything?
Yeah, there was heaps. I mean, most of the audience probably thinking about COVID policy. He was, assassinated. A lot of people, think that, he was definitely against the World Economic Forum. He did speak at the World Economic Forum a few times, but there was certainly a lot of times he didn't go along with what they were saying, including the last 2 years. He didn't follow the jab mandates. In fact, he sent 1.6 million doses of the jabs actually back to the modern factory and said, we don't want it. And he also gave his citizens and made it available Ivy. And on top of that, there were a number of other things he did. He was staunchly anti-communist, anti-China. He was trying to revitalize the military in Japan, he was trying to get rid of the treaties that were restricting restricting Japan from becoming a power again and being too neutral and only having a defense force for defense. But also he was trying to really help to re-educate the Japanese people and say, look, we shouldn't be ashamed of our past. What happened in the Second World War. We shouldn't keep apologizing, which I'm inclined to agree with. Once you've apologized, move forward. Otherwise, it's like with a relationship. If you keep apologizing with things you've already apologized for, you can't move forward. And there were other things.
Relationship.
No. I'm actually.
Yeah, well, there you go. Speaking for experience.
Yeah.
That's sorry. That's probably going to get us a bit of hate, but we shouldn't have even been saying. It would have been the British Empire saying.
Oh, look, that's a whole show in itself. So we'll cover that another day.
Yeah. But going back to it, this was a guy that was avidly with Trump. He was the first global leader that Trump sat down with, leader of a nation. In fact, there's that infamous photo of him standing with Trump against sort of the globalists at one of the world meetings. He was also he was a big advocate of Abenomics, which was a way to revitalize the Japanese economy because they had a really weird situation where they're having negative interest rates. I know they can go negative, and also decreasing population size. He was heavily nationalistic and really wanted to empower Japanese culture. I mean, he was shot by this guy that was in the Navy, formerly of the Navy. But yeah, there was a really cool story about Abe where he was feeding the fish with Trump, and a lot of the media were sharing this one video around of Trump pouring all of the food into the pond. These special fish that were in the water there, but it was what am I trying to say here? The media were trying to say that Trump's uncultured. They were trying to say that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's pouring all this food into the water. He's making a fool of America. He's embarrassing us. But what actually happened was he was just following what Shinzo Abe did 5 seconds before. And so it was a great example which helped to break the media. And Shinzo Abe had a special role in that. And so, look, yeah, he was too young. He was 67 when he went. And it's going to be a shame because he's leaving this massive hole in the Liberal Democrat Party over there. I'm not sure how their election's gone, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
He was an awesome politician, and he just demanded respect. Like, it was a really strong. That's something that the world as a whole is really lacking out.
I want to throw sovereignty. That is something that we should all. Ultimately, you used to get on a plane and you go over answer. Go and look at right going on now. Obviously, they're trying to make the same. Yeah, great melting. You know what? We should be enjoying the fact that we're different. It's a great thing. Enjoy that culture. I love that.
I think spot on to that one. Now, we are getting a little bit off topic, but what I have noticed is we've just gone 24 minutes past 6 in WA, so we do need to hit up a song. So,
Okay.
What I really want to do, because Sky News did a amazing documentary, pretty Chris Kenny, I think it was the guy that did it about nuclear power, and I think that is too good not to talk about on this one because it just arms a lot of the people on the right side of politics, pro freedoms, pro choice, and all that sort of stuff. A lot of ammunition. Talking lefties start bringing up the so-called climate change crap. It's just full of ammunition. Great. So I want to talk about that one when we get back after.
All right, let's do that. Okay, enjoy the break, everybody. We'll be back in a tick. Edge Radio.
Okay, Joel, can you still hear us?
Yeah,
We're
all
not
good.
on air. You can talk now. All right, can you hear it? We couldn't hear you then because Aaron forgot to do a slider.
I was just
Yeah, that's good.
Have you got the PL button? Yeah.
We should.
All right, we can hear you now, Joel.
Awesome. Yep,
So-
sounds good.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the documentary by Chris Kenny and nuclear, and I just
sure.
want to talk about what do everyday people need to do to be able to start getting this argument heard, because at the moment, I don't know if Aaron knows or not, it's actually again to talk, well, not talk about, but to actually have refined uranium for the purposes of generating power.
I did know that. Okay, I didn't realise it'd gone. You don't mind him, he'll just see. Oh, you're eating too. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate
Hey,
that.
I offered
Joel.
you some
Okay.
chips. I deliberately put them as far away from you
Yes,
as
you
possible
did.
so you can't get them. Here you go.
Had breakfast. Thanks.
Yeah, we couldn't do the 6-pack at 6 today because, like, in all seriousness, I am still hungover.
Just to see the
Okay.
old man. What's up?
What we got here? Enzo had informed that he would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Interesting, Kai. Love the comment.
Now, do you guys want to come back in 3 minutes?
I'm happy. Whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, that's my bad.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
good. Yeah, good to go.
yeah, no, I just reckon, 2.5 minutes we'll put now.
Now,
Mark, grab them.
there's nothing wrong with the website. Apparently, there's a lot of static on it. Edge radio site.
Okay.
We need a synthesizer. What is it? The world's smallest violin.
China.
China. Love that. So apparently one of the things that Shinzo was trying to do to actually get, after I think it was the Second World War, they had to demilitarize as part of the peace arrangements. That has never been removed.
Yep.
So legally, Japan is only allowed to have a military force to protect themselves. They're not allowed to have their military leave Japan.
Right.
So they want to change that. So if China does start invading other Pacific, Japan can actually come or like help fight Chinese aggressors. Agency.
Mm.
Such a strategic place, let's face it. So, you know. I don't know. Not look. It's a long time ago.
what's
It's
the-
80 years ago.
What's the name of the kebab shop downstairs?
I do not know.
It's awesome. It's Printerville Drive, number 2. Other than that, I don't know anything else.
There's a piece of paper out there with their menu. Their menu's outside, so you can grab that, mate, once you've burger. All right, hang on. How long have we got? We're at what? 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Hey, that's the noise that Omicron makes eating dinner. For the people listening online, little side story here. So this feral cat was playing with our rescue dog, and it was riddled with worms and ticks and all this sort of stuff. So
This rescue dog was not on Bondi Rescue, was it?
no.
That's not.
The rescue dog is Ben. He's a we caught someone in our backyard, so we wanted an alarm clock dog.
Seconds.
So we had this Chihuahua that hasn't barked for probably 3 years, 4 years, and so he was playing with this feral cat, and the cat just would not go away. And then Corona, so we called the cat Corona.
Hey, this will have to wait. See you, everybody. It's Edge Radio, 6:30. How you doing? It's Malloy with you. We're doing the 6-pack at 6 without the 6-pack today. We're going the sour cream.
Sour cream and chicken.
What have you been eating, mate? It's pretty exciting stuff, as always, you know. You did smash that. Nicely done. Very, very good. All right, now, on the line, we've got Joel Jammal. Thanks, mate, for hanging about and being part of tonight's show, as always. Always good to see you every Tuesday night, talking all politics, culture and all that sort of stuff. Now, before we went for a break, what were we talking about? Pull us in.
We're talking about Japan. Roger Cook doing the down and dirty with preferencing.
Yep.
I'm hearing Norton music. Oh, good. But the one that I wanted to jump into was actually in Australia. I just went to fill up, and let's be honest here, it was absolutely redonkulously expensive. The car I drive is European, so I've got to use 98. So it was $2.35 or something last time I filled up. And so for like 60 litres, it was like $110. Absolutely stupid. That's after all the Dopper Docker discounts for purchase. So we have in Australia massive energy, not just in the power generation. We have a lack of fuel, but it's also getting to the point where, because we've had such massive liberal opposition towards the climate change debacle, even our power generation has been getting switched from reliable coal and gas over to a lot of the renewables, which is actually really, really bad. A couple of reasons. First of all, wind turbines don't always spin. The sun doesn't always shine. The wind turbines have a habit of crushing birds as they spin around. They actually kill a lot of wildlife. The biggest problem I find in Australia is, and I've never understood this until recently, where I actually started doing a bit of research into it, Australia is not allowed to have processed uranium for energy production. So Chris Kenny, Sky News, did a awesome, and it was actually genuinely awesome documentary sort of segment on Sky News about nuclear energy in Australia and how dangerous it actually is. There's so many misconceptions. And Joel, on his YouTube channel, did a reaction video to it, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I cannot stress enough, go have a look at it. He's a lot more professional outfit than us.
Speak for yourself. Okay.
I'm sitting here chowing down on chips and a burger. But it was just really, really good. And the biggest thing that I took away from it is the accidents, like the possibility of a nuclear reactor going up is actually nuclear reactors for our production are not weapons. They're not ticking bombs. There's actually nothing actually dangerous about them, even when they do catastrophically fail.
Here's the problem. From a advertising and emotional point of view, there's a thing called Chernobyl. Okay, just people do remember it, right?
Here we go.
There lies the problem.
How many people died from Chernobyl?
Look, I haven't looked. I do not know.
Do you remember, Joel?
No, I don't actually. Was it like 50? It was like 48 or something. But then they revised it down.
It was less than 50. Have a look at how many people die in the production of windmills.
I don't know. Okay, fair enough. I know a lot of birds die, but like I like to think. Don't get me wrong. Love birds. Okay, I'm an animal lover, but I like to put human lives first. I mean, look. Here is the thing. As I say, when you look at those, the documentary, it wasn't documentary, dramatized on was it on Netflix? The show about Chernobyl, whatever that was. That was absolutely brilliant, but it scares the bejesus out of people. Right? That's the thing. Propaganda,
right there. And that again is fear. And this is something that I think, as a whole, we need to get out of the media sphere.
Yeah.
Is that fear? Because you're driving down the road, looking in your rearview mirror, and there's some dude on their own with a mask on.
Yeah.
And it's like you're in an isolated car. No one's there with you. You can't catch COVID in your car. You're still wearing the mask, and it's not because they've swallowed what the government is saying, hook, line, and sinker. It's that they're scared for their life. And I think that's what's causing a lot of problems, especially around nuclear power. The media, I think, is largely responsible for this. The government is also largely responsible for this, for not dispelling that fear in the community and actually telling.
But you know what they say, sex sells. Better is right. You can control a population with it. That's what's gone on for the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on that, Joel?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Fear's what drives people over the edge.
We need to. I mean, this is the thing about the great thing about the internet. So many bad things, but the great thing about the freedom of this. What would you call it? Citizen media that's gone so much? Self being one, obviously ourselves, freedom way around. There's just so many. I could run a long list of. But that is starting. Well, even things like Joe Rogan. Okay, the fact of the matter is, now the citizens of the old Earth here are having far more to say now, actually being heard. Where before, hey, the propaganda. And we know propaganda works. I mean, look, there's as I say, little
Germany.
country. I was going to say in the middle of Europe, but we'll go with that one.
Hey, we should be able to actually say what it is. So, yes, Germany, the only reason that people went, oh, you know what, it's okay to gas Jews. The only reason they said that is because the media told them it was okay.
That's right.
So they got away with it. You control the media, you can get away with whatever you want. But now, and this is why I'm really, really stoked for things like the internet, how close we are as a society as a whole, because as bad as Twitter and Facebook are, we wouldn't be able to do this without it. We're able to call the government out on their bullshit to help start dispelling that fear.
Look, everything's about fear of money, let's face it. So the old story of follow the money, you'll find that in every situation. There is absolutely nothing that is not coloured and a lot of ways solely by chasing. So when people have more, say, on a higher ideal ethics, you're going to get the great thing about with like, right across the world, it's been very, very. I kind of like it because obviously what's gone with the last 2 years, cough, going, right? That has the cough has woken us up. Okay, simple as that. We were in our slumber, and it's woken so many people up, and now we're in a position to get that freedom out there and enjoy our freedom of speech.
We do have a comment online here. We have so much uranium that's talked about in Australia. It is stupid not to have nuclear power. We are geologically stable and have a safety culture, unlike Soviet Union. Now, there's a couple of other things that people don't actually realize. We do actually have an active and operating and reactor.
We do.
And that's used to make medical treatments for cancers and stuff like that. So it's not like we don't have it, and that we can't use it and we can't operate it safely. And there was one point by one of the environmentalists, it's like when planes were first invented, we knew, the basic concept of how a plane flies.
Yep.
But now we know how to operate the planes better. We know how to operate them better. We know how to build them better. We just know a lot more about it, and we've got a lot more experience with it. And the same thing is happening with nuclear turbines, nuclear reactors.
Yep.
So one question I really, really want to have a talk to Joel, because during the campaign, every time I saw a parrot or someone who is clearly a Green supporter, I asked them, nuclear, what's your thoughts? Oh no, nuclear waste. Joel, is that the same on the East Coast? Because I know, we're a whole continent apart. Is the ideal opinion towards nuclear as negative as it is over here, especially around?
It is. I mean, that's the biggest concern people raise. It's the waste. But as you would have seen in the documentary, they deal with that concern. But still, there is 54%, as Chris Kenny said in the documentary, 54% of Aussies do want to consider nuclear energy as an option. And that's enough, I reckon.
Sorry, a majority to me, not a minority.
Yeah, to consider it, at least to consider it. Right, what we have right now is we can't even have a national discussion in Parliament about it, and I don't think that's right. I think that we need to investigate all baseload powers, and I think if it's truly an emergency, if we're truly going to end the world in 12 years or whatever, if we're setting 2030 targets, then we should be investigating all avenues. And so it's a good litmus test to argue along the lines of nuclear energy if they want to lower carbon emissions.
Well, I've done my bit, thrown away.
You threw away your hair too. There's a reason why he wears a hat, ladies and gentlemen. Mine's still there. It's starting to grow, the bald patch, but hey, I'll wear that with grace and honor.
To grow, you can
because he has great style.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. We'll go with that one.
It's starting to fall out of here and grow out of the ears. That's a little bit.
I don't know if I can say the same for Travis.
I like to call it the hair relocation.
Yes. Okay? Yeah. Well, thanks to Chernobyl. No. The other thing is, especially with the nuclear waste, which is really, really interesting. So obviously, Australia as a whole is an extremely seismically. We only have about 1,000 earthquakes. Yep. Right. Sounds like a lot. 100. Well, I won't say 100%, but a vast majority of them we can't feel.
We're smack bang in the middle of a plate. That's why.
Spot on. So every continent is always going to have seismic activity of one form or other. The thing is, Australia's one is extremely tame. It is extremely shallow. It doesn't actually really affect anything. I can't even remember last time we had an earthquake which actually caused damage. So in that side of things, especially over in and when their reactor went down, they had I think it was a number 7 seismic earthquake, which then caused a tsunami. So, and there was still very, very few people that died because of the reactor after suffering 2 major natural disasters, both of which will not happen in Australia.
Okay, so who gets this issue up? So the reality is now we've got Labor Green.
Okay? They never done brought it up.
That's right. Are we going to see strength? Are we going to see some level of balls coming from a opposition? Is there an opposition?
I think that's a better question for Joel, to be honest. Do you think there is an opposition that would be brave enough or strong enough to force this conversation into?
No, not at all. I mean, it takes some serious public pressure for this to happen. I don't think the media has any patience for nuclear. I don't think that the Labor Party or the Greens would propose it. So, yeah, I think it takes significant public outcry, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we're going to keep plodding along, and if we have blackouts, we have blackouts. I think that people are going to have to put up with it, and their next opportunity to make their voice known is the next federal election in 2025. But because elections have consequences, and people got to live with these consequences. The Labor Party has the numbers to get what they want passed in the lower house and the upper house. So, if people are looking for an opportunity to move on nuclear, that was last election.
Oh, okay, on that front, right now you're on the East Coast, all right? There's floods and all problems going on. How do you feel about our taxpayer money?
Yeah, look, it seems like it's probably I don't know, actually. I don't know. No, honestly, I'm not sure. What do we actually want from government on the floods? Do we want them to, bail everyone out? Do we want them to rebuild houses in the flood zones? I don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions. I think that and I'm certainly not going to argue that they need to move on climate change, and that's why we're having the floods. That's not what I think at all. But with the war in Ukraine, there's a strategic interest that the government thinks it's worth $100 million more. I don't know about that either. I don't even know if that's better. That money would be better spent, in our military. I don't think the people in the area of Lismore or the other areas that are being flooded appreciate it, though. That's for sure. That's what I'm hearing.
I just think you look after your. That's really how I see it. I've got a big issue with foreign aid, quite frankly.
It's foreign bribery. Let's be honest here.
Exactly. It's like we're talking about sovereignty. People go, trying to keep people out. And I'm kind of like, no, you know what? I'm not. Reality is, you lock your doors every night, protect your family. Right? That's
unless you're Canadian.
Unless you're Canadian, but that's the reality. It's not about keeping people out. I mean, obviously, I've got a mixed background. I love multiculturalism. The society. I love the mix of people, but at the end of the day, you can't just open everything, and you can't looking after. We've got so many people in this country homeless. We've got so many people suffering, so many issues. Indigenous, shocking, money there, so many different places. So for me, I mean, okay, I'm not in the floods or anything, but to me, it's a kick in the guts. Everyday Aussie get that money. Quite frankly, personal opinion, country that does these days a lot of money laundering, getting washing assets.
That's one way to look at it. Just going back to the question about what the government can do. First of all, we know this is a floodplain. We know these floods come through every so often. We know how bad they are. So I've heard arguments for stop giving permits to build in those areas in the floodplains. There's a very, very, I won't say unpopular idea, but we need to dam these rivers. We need to have dams. This is like Australia has, yes, we've got a lot of water and it's underground. stuff. But if you start messing with your underground water, you start causing all sorts of problems in the. So we need to start catching this water before it gets to the point where it's wiping out people's house. And having dams and being able to control the flow of the water is going to go a long way to protecting people's assets, protecting the economy, protecting our power supply. Because what's the one of the biggest dams in the world? Hoover Dam. What is it? Effectively, Hoover Dam is a giant battery. They store up a crap load of water, and when there's a surge in power, they open the floodgates and powers the turbines, and hey, they've got a crap load more energy all of us, like out of flick of a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start making dams. Australia has a lot of water, and we.
All right, I think it goes back to a far more basic level when it comes to houses and floodplains and all. I think certainly this in West got private developers that are too much control. The fact is, politicians in WA got their hands absolutely full of cash. That's a reality.
I need to ask Roger Cook about that one.
Oh, yes, that's call Rog. The fact of the matter is there is so much of Western Australia that you would not possibly develop. What they do is they throw some sand on top and give us some nice affordable housing. The housing industry and the development of land and all that sort of thing, it is dirty as an absolute joke. Have lands usable, have better ways, but at the end of the day, buy land up cheap, and far too much. That is at a basic level. Go on with the other issue. The fact of the matter is, you're going to build a house on shitty land, always going to be.
Yep. So one thing that I will do, and this is something that Joel does really well. So for all the people listening online, we're trying to get this out to as many people as possible. So please make sure you do like and share. And if you are watching this on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, please do subscribe, because it really, really does help out the channel, getting the message out even further as well. So one thing I want to do, we are coming up for time where, let's check the time here. What is it? 6:47 in WA and 8:47 over in Wales. We do need to hit another song.
We do.
And then I think once we come back, we've been talking about investments and all that sort of stuff. And the biggest impacts to investments, especially in Australia, I think we need to start having talk about inflation, what's there.
Okay, it's edgeradioaustralia.com.
Joel, we have used music for today's show, and that's, you might notice that there's a little bit more dancier things. There's no copyright on these. So we haven't been kicked off yet, which is awesome.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. It's a key word. I got to figure out how to kick someone off StreamYard. Someone's trying to promote buying followers on Twitch, and I got to get rid of it. I don't know how.
All right. So, guys, we will be back. I've basically got 7 minutes in there. You happy with that? That only gives us 5 minutes at the end. Or actually, got what?
Hey, Joel, how long can you talk about inflation?
Mate, I don't have much to say on inflation, but I've actually got to hop off at 9 o'clock my time. I've got early morning tomorrow.
Oh, no, we know that, mate. That's why we're timing it out, because
yeah.
All good.
Honestly, inflation, I don't have heaps to say about it, except that it's like the biggest tax that people don't know about. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
But that's pretty much what we want to say. So,
all right, okay. So we will.
Why don't we do a quick one now? Wrap up in 5 minutes. Go to a song.
Yeah.
So yeah. Phil, again, I know how hard you're working at the moment, especially with Team Australia, so I greatly appreciate
absolutely
for us. And I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm pretty smashed. There's a lot of people getting sick out here. I hope I'm not one of them, but there's a few people in my family that are a bit sick right now. Yeah, smashed.
You're working too hard. It's because you're too handsome. That's the problem. I have to throw a random compliment.
If I'm working too hard to be handsome, then I mustn't be too handsome.
Well, that's one way to take the compliment. I heard a saying that if someone doesn't accept a compliment, they want to hear it again. So, oh, you're handsome.
Should I cue up "You're Gorgeous" for him? Come on.
Why not? Let's go out with "You're Beautiful" or something. The greatest stalker song ever. "You're Beautiful," James.
Passion. All right, now I just, it was written in the toilet, right? Written in Carrie Fisher's toilet. That's not a joke.
Hang on, Carrie Fisher's like as in like full stalker.
As in Star Wars. Right, 1 minute. Okay, so hang on. We're gonna run. We're gonna run.
I'm pretty sure they can still hear us on.
They probably can. Well, we talk about the big issues, toilets, that sort of stuff.
Stalking people in the toilet. Wow, that is so.
Anyway. You'll notice I don't think there's a single one of his songs on it. All right, now I'm going to come back in a minute and 16. We want to do it that way?
Yep.
They can still hear us on Stalkbook. That's even funnier.
That's all right. We've got no secrets. Yeah, the bastions. Oh, Freddie.
Transparency. We'll put it down. Transparency. We are the most transparent radio station. Even the off-air comments. Transparent.
Yep. All right, I'll just say something I want to say. I'm hungry and you're eating that in front of me. You're so rude.
I gave you chips and I offered to buy you one, but you're
I ate at 8 o'clock this morning. Give me a break. All right.
I ate like 4:30 just before I went to bed.
Exactly. All right.
Oh, Joel, that's what you need to
30
do.
seconds. Hang on.
Become nocturnal.
All right, boys. We're going live now, right? Hi. It's edgeradioaustralia.com. Get on board. Great stuff all the time. But right now, Joel Jammal, we're talking about politics. We're about to talk. The music's going to stop, I swear, in just a second. We're going to talk all about inflation. That's cats, yeah?
Before we do that,
Oh, of course.
one thing we do need to do, everyone probably knows, we haven't been kicked off Facebook yet. Big massive shout out to NCS on the YouTube. No copyright sounds. If you ever need music or sounds or anything that is not copyrighted and won't get you into, seriously, jump on. But one of the conditions is you do have to give them a shout out. You do have to give them credit for whatever they're doing. So here's the credit for
Absolutely.
NCS. They've got some absolute phenomenal. So for all the budding streamers out there, jump on board, say g'day, give them a bit of a like and share and subscribe. They actually do have some really, really top music.
Help out fresh new.
And for those that didn't know, that last song was actually Alan Walker. So there's, as much as I don't like his politics, what he does for the streaming community is actually pretty amazing. So he opens up most of his free for everyone to. So
Right, enough of you waffling on. Let's talk about bloody well inflation.
well, that's what I was doing. I was waffling on to show how annoying inflation actually is.
You can talk underwater, mate. You
I
really
know,
could.
and I do. Mum tried it when I was a kid. No.
Sure, that's what she was trying. Were you on a milk tin at the time? But all right.
So the biggest thing that this is really irking me because I try to read every single newspaper in Australia, especially with my role within One Nation. There's so much crap in there, but the surprising thing is you'll only find 2 or 3 articles about inflation at any time. I think there's actually more articles about Pauline Hanson and Craig Kelly and all the other in there than things that are actually, having a real effect on our economy in Australia. And I have to say the biggest at this stage is inflation, without a doubt. And it kind of ties into the last thing we were talking about because I don't know if you guys, have you actually checked the fuel prices out at the moment? They're like $2, $2.30, whatever. And that's with a 30 to 40 cent discount because we're not paying excise tax.
I today saw $1.83 and I got it so excited. And I can't believe I got excited at $1.83.
Were you a little bit jolly?
I was just a little bit
Does that
jolly.
make you the jolly fat man?
Oh, rub my belly and you'll learn. Trust me, all right.
All right, Buddha. So, Joel, again, inflation over here is out of control. We haven't been stung with the lettuces yet, but has it been really noticeable over on the East Coast?
Oh yeah, the fuels. Well, yeah, the inflation's been really bad. It's people are getting absolutely squeezed right now. Why is this happening? It's happening because of all that expenditure from the government last year and the last 2 years. But yeah, no, look, it's not great. It's not great. We're filling it with food, $13 iceberg lettuce. Yeah, look, it's not good. Meat's going up. Just your normal appliances are going up. Electrical's going up. Construction's going up. Everything's up. And people don't want to work either. So it's the economy's not looking too good. I think we're in for some rough few years
Why are we worried about meat prices, though? Nicole Kidman up there online telling us to eat bugs now. How exciting it is. That's the future.
Is Nicole Kidman even
Bugs are
doing
up
that?
too.
Bugs are up.
So this has actually been, again, I know I'm harping on about One Nation here, but Malcolm's actually raised this on the floor of Parliament as one of the reasons why we need to leave the UN, because they're actually promoting humans to eat cockroaches. I'm going to leave that one alone because, I'm going to leave that alone. I can see that getting really, really
Back away
messy.
from that game, man.
Yep. Especially considering that we're still live on Facebook at this stage. We haven't been kicked off yet.
Brilliant.
I'm so proud of that. We've got a full show with no copyright strikes or anything. It was like, yes! Alana Morissette, you can go suck a sausage. So she was, just so you guys know, she was one of the people that kicked up a stink, or her record label.
Sure, Alanis Morissette on the other side of the earth. She's up there in Canada, and she's going.
That's right. She's Canadian.
She is. She's all about that. And I'm sure she's sitting there and going, "Hang on,
Dad
they're in
joke
Perth."
Time. Dad joke time. How do Canadians spell Canada? E-A-N-A-E-A-A.
So Joel, can we talk amongst the others? All right.
Oh, that's terrible.
Never work with children, animals. Okay, so
that was a travesty. That
you were talking about inflation and what you were saying. Obviously, well, I'll paraphrase you, but basically the decisions of the last couple of years have that role on it. Do you think there's any way of educating the public to understand not that reaction? The fact is, start the ball rolling. You make decisions just like this massive debt that we're leaving our children.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty much a straight line in terms of explaining. Okay, look, you spend a lot, your money's gonna be worth less because the government just running the printing press is that's just how it is. I think it will get to the point where people do ask the question, why is it my purchasing power isn't what my parents had?
Yeah.
And I think that they are looking for answers. I mean, they're already looking for answers, and that's what they're seeing right now. So people are not going to be very happy in 3 years. It's going to be very interesting to see how that translates into votes. But I've got my popcorn.
Yeah, look, I again, showing my age, but I was a kid, big reception, just a bit, but I was there.
You weren't a baby; you were a teenager.
I was not a teenager.
In the late 80s, I was a baby in the late 80s.
Details. Don't worry about that. Right? Okay. I had a hard life. But I remember the pain that I remember those. I remember the fact that Dad. The things that you remember. I remember pain in my birthdays. He felt he was down, and he wasn't. I mean, my dad and mum were amazing providers. So, that's what concerns me is we're going through this horrible hard time. Going to have with all the other issues, family law issues, people being trapped inside, all those sorts carry on, all these issues, the mental health of this country. Will it ever recover?
No, absolutely not. So we are going to wrap this one up here because Joel does have to run out at 9. So Joel, final thoughts. Inflation, do you think the economy is going to recover in our lifetime?
Oh, I think it will in our lifetime. It's just you just need the government to get out of the way, and people will bounce back. Venezuela is a walking example of how quickly things can turn for the worse, but it's also an example before the revolution of how well things can go. I think that we really need to learn the lessons of history, remember what made the country great, and then we can replicate that for the future. And so that comes down to education, having leaders rise up in their relevant fields, and a willing public to actually pay a bit more attention to what's going on around them. Because if you're not interested in politics, you can be damn well sure politics is interested in you.
Damn right. Oh, that's a good one now. Now, with that, let's get out of here. Already have.
So at least I'll leave him a like and a share and subscribe for his very good one-liner.
Absolutely, mate. Again, your little sites that your webpage is all going to carry on. Anything you'd like to let everyone know?
Guys. If you want to follow Joel Jammal on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Telegram, and Turning Point Australia on Instagram and Facebook.
Fantastic. Now, I've chosen a song that will actually probably get us thrown off every form of social media. to end the show on it, and this song rather, goes out to Roger Cook, because he does like to cook the books. Of course, our wonderful friend here. I think it's apt, quite frankly. Okay, everybody.
Joel, you're a legend. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Joel. We'll see you next week, buddy. Edges.
See you, fellas. Thanks so much.
See you all. Let's see how long we can stay on before we get kicked. There he is. He's down. Yep, thing keeps unlocking, locking itself.
What does? Oh,
there it is. That's the one I wanted.
yeah, buddy.
Zoom. See my ball, that big soldier brown. Just take my.
Straight to the WA government. Me, to you. Stop cooking the books. This is a shit.
I've lost the advertising info.
What?
I love that. 350.
No ball.
Sorry, I'll do it this way. Take my balls. Now, one thing we did forget to do. Oh, I love this bit. Whee! Boom. Major sponsor of the station. We're still online. I can't believe we haven't been kicked yet.
What?
Yeah, and of it, all things are South Park. Alright, for the people still listening online, chuck us a comment. What song do you think is going to get us kicked off air? And we'll see if we got it in the playlist and we'll put it on. Gotta love Chef.
Gotta love Chef.
You're welcome, Chef. That just worked. Oh, I love Rancid. This isn't Rancid.
Get on down to 60:30 for dinner, everyone. It's only 7 o'clock. You need a feed. Oh, it's oh.
And a beer. I need a beer. We had a request for Faith No More Epic. That's what I was doing. Can't find that bit.
Oh, really?
Probably threw it out when you were spring cleaning. Easy way to fix it. Cosmos. So yeah, if you're in the Wangara area, you need a good chicken burger. I have to say, you know how sometimes you get them that just got way too much sauce on them?
Yep.
And like you take one bite and your hands
No,
are
I've had one
shit.
of these. These are good, man.
They don't overload with sauce, and the chips. There we go. The chips are just happily seasoned with some red stuff. I'm guessing it's paprika or something.
Okay.
Saffron?
No,
No, it wouldn't be
it
saffron
was-
because it's expensive as shit, isn't it?
Be paprika, man.
Paprika! They're actually really good chips. Ah. Oh, Derek! Holy shit, Derek's watching. So for those who don't know, Derek, I don't know if it's Labour Greens or something, but he definitely doesn't like me. But he, to his credit, he doesn't just come on board and insult people. He actually has a conversation and talks to each other and has a genuine debate with people. So I think, Derek, you're a legend, and that's one of the reasons I call him my residential Facebook troll on my political pages. He's been awesome. Like I think he's great. Yeah, we disagree on a lot of political things, but who cares? That's what politics is
exactly
about.
right.
So
We're supposed to disagree with people.
welcome to the stream, Derek. Thanks for jumping on. This is awesome. You know what? We have to put his request on. I don't know if you got it.
What is it?
Metal Liquor. So what? That'll definitely get us kicked.
What is it?
Metallica.
Oh,
Metal Liquor.
yeah. Which one?
Yeah. So what?
Anything Metallica?
No, he said so what.
Oh,
There's a
sorry.
song called So
Sorry.
What. Actually, that's a thought. A lot of people don't realise this in WA. Prior to the federal election 2025, we've actually got the state election coming up. So I don't know if Derek's still online or not, but what I'd love to know is your local issues that which you don't feel the politicians are actually representing. So, hey, you know how we're always saying that we want this show to be about all sides of politics?
Absolutely.
Not just One Nation. Obviously, I'm One Nation, but Derek is, like I said, I don't know if he's Labour or Greens, but let's talk local issues because that's, again, 2025. You don't have it, do you?
No. I've put Metallica song in. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah, but that's not So What.
Not. But come on, still a good
You know-
song.
I have not listened to Metallica since probably good 5-6 years.
Huh?
No, it's just they're really strict on copyright. They annoy a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think if Faith No More doesn't get us off, I think
I'm sure.
Metallica will. Well, Josh, you were actually right. That is, and if you're wondering why I'm like looking weird like this, The microphone for Facebook is like directly in front of the comment section, so we'll have to rearrange the studio to account for that. But yeah. I remember I was a kid and my oldest brother Buddha come up and like, oh, you gotta check this band out, mum. And he was like 13 or something, so I would have been 5 or 6. Actually, would have been older. If I was 6, he would have been 15. And he actually brought one of these albums, like I can't remember Metallica or this one, and just never heard anything like it. It was awesome. The other one that when I was a kid though I thought was just phenomenal is Mad World.
Oh yeah.
The original one, Gary Jules, is it?
I don't know who.
And In Excess. Now, Mr. Run.
Yeah.
60-30. Do you know of any bands or events coming up?
Well, normally it had my screen open that I could do that, but I have not at the moment. And there's a new menu too, so I've got to get the new menu.
Ooh, we'll have to go have dinner there one time.
Absolutely.
Actually, the wifey's coming up out the next week, so we'll go for dinner out 60-30.
Okay.
Taz is online. Hey, Taz. The music's probably drifting in and out because it's going through the in-studio speakers into a mic. So if you listen live on edgeradioaustralia.com, just .com, isn't it?
.com.
That doesn't happen. So this is more behind-the-scenes chat for the people on social media. We have a habit of getting banned off... So we're seeing if we can get banned again. Groovy. Hey Taz, you're into some funky ass music. Throw us a request through. And how's your stream going, by the way? So that's Inferno Insomnia on the good old Twitch. I think we need to have a focus. They're all watching you. They're watching you, baby.
Oh dear. Watch me work hard, moving a mouse. I'm clicking things.
Hey,
I'm making bell noises.
One of the greatest comments I ever heard. Hi, everyone. For gamer nerds like us, it's like, what do you do all day? I said, oh, I was killing dragons with a mouse.
Yes, well, I'm not a gamer nerd, just so you know. He's one, but I'm not. I've got this thing called a life. Yeah,
I've got a life. It's all online. Though.
Exactly. Mine's off.
But you know what's funny? You're pulling the piss of me having a life, but you're here with me.
Things went terribly wrong, man. Things went very wrong. Oh, dear. For those that want to know what's going on behind the scenes, and yes, I am clicking away on something, is actually I'm retiming everything. So going through, changing songs, making sure that all the timing works so that well, basically, everything keeps flowing and, the machine works. So there's a lot to it. Seems simple, but it's actually a little bit complex. Well, maybe because it's just me.
Real random thought here. Taz reckons we don't have any of her music.
Okay. What is it?
I'm wondering, the weirdest things that she listens to is probably baby metal.
Okay. I don't think I've got any baby metal. But
okay. Did you delete my brother's folder?
No.
Okay.
Is it in the system already or not?
Possibly. It's Mark's folder or whatever. First album I ever purchased. I was a kid, maybe 9.
Okay, easy.
Metallica Black.
Right.
And that's the album which made me learn how to play bass guitar because I wanted the bass solo. Bass solo. Take one. Here we go. This is Taz's request on the Twitch. On the screen. By Fallen, the Black Witch Binds.
Nope, I definitely don't have it. I already know that already. And
Mark's folder there?
I could bring it in, but unfortunately we've got that particular line disconnected to run that camera, I believe. So normally, hey, I could make that work, just not right now.
I know Taz. Taz is actually a really cool chick.
Yeah.
The other thing that she loves listening to is the Spice Girls.
Yeah, they're so similar.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's really funny. Like, my oldest brother is like full death metal dude, tattoos and the whole works.
Yep.
He's got a tattoo of the jukebox number for Spice Girls Wannabe for Big Rat.
All right. So we've got Spice Girls or that sicker? Yeah.
Was it Lady Baby, Nippon Manju? Here you go. Lady Baby. I don't want to say that I don't know that song. I actually do, and it's hilarious. You don't want to download it. Trust me on that one.
Really?
No, it's a dude that's an absolute tank running around with all the J-pop stars doing death metal songs. It's worse than baby metal.
Oh, nice. All right. I'll look it up, though.
Oh, it's well worth the laugh. Electric Harpies. Hang on, isn't that a Perth band? Electric Harpies?
No.
Okay.
You think Electric State?
Electric State. Okay, so we've had a request. Electric Harpies, Johnny Courageous.
What's that?
Johnny Courageous.
Johnny Courageous. Don't have that either. But...
Just so you guys are aware, this playlist is very, very new. So we're in the process of building it.
Yeah, so we do want your help, for sure. Like, it's really great to hear what people want. Sort of,
But he refuses to put K-pop on.
I wonder why, right? I wonder why. But the thing is, right, got a really good bass list here of a lot of songs that people love.
Do it. This is coming from Taz. So she wants you to put on Lady Boy.
I can't do it.
Lady Boy,
I
Nippon
can't.
Manu.
I can't at the moment. Because you've got the lead that does it.
No,
Yes.
I can do it. You know
Yeah.
how?
I can't believe I'm going to do this. All right. Hang on.
Taz, this is for you. I keep
It's all right.
the phone panel down. I have no idea what just happened there.
Doesn't matter now.
Something turned off.
All good. All right.
I've got nothing up here, by the way.
What?
I've got nothing on my headphones. Wait, there we go.
So what's wrong with Taz that she knows you, man? Go on.
You know Tony, Lumberjack Tony.
Yeah.
Yes, Taz is his wife.
Ah, joining the dots. Okay, cool. Tony.
Audio's off yet.
Oh, should I? With great flavour and 50% less fat, it's easy to say, oh yes. Go on.
Hey Taz,
Say yes to Smith's
guess what?
Oven Baked.
Even online.
yeah, we should be. I know we're on YouTube.
Yeah, but is that the only place we're at?
I don't know.
It's not good.
Mine, yours, Edge, and Carnus Corners Daily. Hey Taz, can you see that screen behind you? Oh, you can't see, a bit of a glare. That's alright, you'll see it in a bit.
Oh, for God's sake.
You know what?
We're not streaming. Can you run out there? So, we just absolutely have to put a monitor in feeding that. Need to know when that's going on. You just going on, mate? So that whole show didn't go out.
So,
You haven't got music going out at the moment.
just realised my belly's on the camera.
Okay.
No, there's audio out issue.
Can you turn this off then?
I think we need to do a restart. Put Taz a song on for her because she's on crack
Well,
for shits if we don't. Are you ready? Yeah. I've got to press play. Where's my mouth? You ready, Taz? This is for you. Zoom. You go. Oh, this is terrible. This is beyond terrible. This is so... There you go. There you go, people.
You want to run out?
I'll be right back. I just got all this back. Alright, Chaz, we put this song on for you, so for your next train, you're going to dance to this, okay? He's a little bit worried about that. I'm not going to lie. See what we do for us now. Oh, I love it, though. Wow, even his very chest gets out. Wow, we actually have 7 people watching at home listening to this shit. What did you tell me about that? He's worried about this. He's worried. Malloy's just All right, I'll be right back.
Dude, I think the computer is interfering with. Yeah. Anatran's coming up 2 p.m. on Thursday, mate.
Update and everything. I can't get into anything.
So is that happening right now?
So at the moment, the only thing going to, I reckon we pull the stream down while we fix this.
Yeah.
So for the people listening online,
Hi, everyone. Do they really need to know our dirty laundry? No. We're just having some issues.
tech issues
related to him. Okay? Me, everything I touch when it comes to computers just turns to gold, right? So he's the issue.
The funny thing is, it was like it was working prior to everything else, but it's kind of not sure because it's just picking up static.
I joke. The fact is, computers hate me. I'm the man who looks for the any key. All right, you do that, my friend. I am going to go get some food.
No, it's this
I'm
one.
hungry as hell. What's going on?
What's this one connected? I just got to get in my head right.
Okay, remember that line goes out, so it is
So
working. This is fine.
this one, isn't it?
Right? Huh?
This goes to here, doesn't it? That's fine. This is fine.
Music's coming through here, boom, boom, boom. So it's going out, and then it goes into that computer. It goes into that computer over there.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yep,
but
so that's the issue.
What that computer is picking up means of this. Here's a thought. Remember when we will this line? Yep. Out. Your main.
No, definitely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. Taz, we will have people calling up eventually, but what we need to do is get sorted out is how to answer phone calls coming in and all that sort of shit. So it will be happening. Taz is funny. She's awesome. She's a fire twirler.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
if
you've
you-
talked about Taz before.
Yeah.
No, she sounds really cool.
So for the 7 or 8 people still listening, with all the tech issues, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going under the desk now to try and.
He's getting down on his knees.
I am. That's where I spend my
That's-
best time.
That's what she said. Yeah, so we just got to figure out, for some reason, the main computer is just picking up. Yeah, it's supposed to be an analog signal. But yeah. So I'm going to drop the stream. Don't forget to send edgeradioaustralia.com your music request so we can up and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, this has been Travis Carter for 6 Pack Out 6 with Joel Jammal, who's already bailed, and the guy that's under the table. Wow, that's one non-hairy leg. It's kind of scary. All right, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.